Hi everyone, my name is Kylie. I'm going to be taking you through your gentle flow. This will be a 45-minute yoga class. So today, what you may find helpful to have with you, or this evening, wherever it may be, whatever time it might be where you are, is a blanket. So a blanket can be a really helpful prop for you in a yoga class for things such as kneeling. So if we are going to do anything today, which we will be, where we're on our knees, it may just help you have a little bit of extra padding underneath your knees when you're coming into some of the shapes and the poses that we'll be working through. So having a blanket with you, really handy little prop. Another thing that I'll show you a few options with is a block. So you may not have a yoga block as such at home. Something that is a really great option instead of a block would be a big thick book. So if you have a big thick book that resembles this kind of shape, that can be really handy and helpful for you as well, just to add a little bit of extra support into your practice. And the third thing that I have here is a bolster. So this is like a big pillow. You can use any pillows or cushions that you have in your home as well. Just a few things that may be really helpful for you to support these shapes a little bit further as we move through them. So we're going to start today in any position that feels right for your body. You may be in a seated position, perhaps up against a wall. Maybe you have your cushion or your blanket and you'd like to prop that underneath your body just to support the hips. Or you could be lying down if you prefer to lie down, perhaps laying yourself down onto the mat, legs out nice and long, and just finding whatever position feels most comfortable for you to start your practice. So take a little moment to figure out what that is. And once you have found yourself a nice comfortable position, let's just begin to close down the eyes. And we'll start our practice with a check-in. So a check-in is just a really nice way to draw some awareness to how you're feeling on all levels. So all levels being physically, how are you feeling physically? Emotionally, what are you feeling emotionally? And mentally, so your thoughts. Just check in here and see if you can notice which one of those aspects is most prominent for you today. Is it your thoughts that may be a little bit busy? Perhaps there's an emotion that you can feel or notice quite strongly today. Or maybe it's your physical body. Some tension, some tightness, an injury that you may be aware of. And let's dig a little deeper into the mind. So in our yoga practice or our meditation practice, we are never really trying to clear our mind completely of thoughts. It's just a process of drawing some awareness to what those thoughts may be and just allowing thoughts to do what they naturally do, which is enter the mind and exit. So allowing our thoughts to drift in, acknowledging what they are, and then allowing them to pass through. It's completely normal and natural for us to be jumping from thought to thought. Let's slow that process down. So notice your thoughts as they float into the mind. Notice them as they drift out. Allow them to pass through, allow them to let go. And beginning to draw your awareness to your physical body now. Do a scan from the head all the way down to the tips of your fingers, the tips of your toes. See if you can notice any areas where you may be holding some tension here. So scanning down perhaps to the shoulders or the jaw. Maybe introducing a little bit of movement in the area if that helps you to feel your way through this. Perhaps it's just sensation that you're noticing, so temperature, maybe it's some heat or some coolness. Perhaps you can notice your clothing and where it connects to your body. And then let's draw our awareness now to our breath. Notice what the quality of your breath is like. Does the breath feel like it's coming with ease? Does the breath feel a little bit tight, a little bit restricted here in the body? So it can be helpful to have one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly. Noticing the breath as you inhale in through your nose, first into your chest. Allow the rib cage to expand out. And then exhale, release the air from the rib cage out through the chest, out through your nose. Inhale, breath in through your nose, sending that breath into the chest, expanding the ribs outwards, perhaps even sending your breath now down into your belly. And then exhale, softening your breath from your belly, your ribs, your chest out through your nose. So nice deep belly breaths if you can. Sending the air first in through the nose, into the ribs. Belly will expand up. So one hand on the belly, one hand on the chest could be helpful here. Just to notice that expansion. And you're releasing out from that belly, the rib cage, the chest out through the nose. Doing this at your own pace. Your breath will be completely different to anyone else's. Just noticing how this feels in your body. Can you expand a little bit more? So without any strain, just allowing the breath to lengthen a little bit more every time you inhale. And then allow that breath to lengthen a little bit more as you exhale. 3 more rounds of this type of breath in your own pace. Inhaling in through your nose, filling all the way up. Exhaling, releasing the air. And if it does feel better for you to exhale out through your mouth, that is completely fine. 2 more rounds or wherever you are at. Inhales in. Exhales, release. And finishing off your last round of breath. Inhale in. Exhale, release. And gently fluttering open your eyes. If you're not already there, let's do a few rounds of breath with some movement now through our arms. So let's inhale as we reach those arms up towards the sky. Maybe you gaze up here as well. As you exhale, let's bring those hands down through center, gaze down. Inhale as we reach up, expand, create some length here in our body. Exhale, drawing that breath back down. A few more rounds here. Inhale, reaching up, getting that nice stretch up towards the ceiling. Exhale, hands through the center. 1 more round here. Inhale, reach up towards the ceiling. Exhale, drawing it back through the center. Excellent work. So now we are going to make our way to a 4-point kneeling position. So if you are not already here, let's come up to our kneeling position. This is where you may like to place a blanket down for your knees. So you could cross this over your mat just to create that extra cushioning for you. And then we're going to set up with our wrists underneath our shoulders and our knees underneath our hips here. We're going to begin to gently connect our breath as we move. So every inhale breath, we're going to drop our belly down and lift our gaze up. And then as we exhale, we're going to press our hands, arch our back and gaze between our knees, working through a few rounds of what is called cat and cow. So inhale breath as you drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, press the ground away, arch your spine. Inhale breath, dropping the belly, lifting the gaze. Exhale, press the ground away. And just moving in whatever way feels good for you. So through class today, I will be moving you through a few different shapes, a few different movements. But remember that this is your yoga practice, so you can move in any way that you feel best. All of our bodies are really different. So what feels great in someone's body may not feel great in somebody else's body. So just remembering you can give yourself permission to move as you feel you need to. So with these cats and cows, maybe the hips are moving from side to side. Might feel good. Maybe you're sitting back towards your heels a little bit, and then coming up onto the tips of your fingers perhaps. It doesn't matter what you look like in your cat and your cow, just feeling through that movement, through that spine and connecting your breath every time you move. So inhale, drop that belly, lift your gaze. Exhale, press the ground away, arch your spine. And one more round here on your pace. Inhale, dropping that belly. Exhale, arching the spine. We're going to come into a child's pose. So let's take our knees out nice and wide here and bring your big toes to touch. Send your hips back towards your heels. And then reaching your arms forward, placing your forehead down onto your mat. If you feel more comfortable, perhaps your knees are together and you are sitting back towards your heels here. So finding what feels best for you in your child's pose. If your forehead is not quite reaching down towards the mat, that's where that block may be handy. You could place that down and place your forehead onto the block. Just taking a few deep rounds of breath here. Sending that breath into the rib cage. And with your next inhale breath, coming back to your 4-point kneeling position, we're going to find our first downward facing dog. So tucking your toes under here on your mat, setting those wrists up underneath those shoulders once again. And as we press our fingertips down into the mat, we're going to lift our hips up nice and high towards the ceiling. Find our downward facing dog. And it can feel really nice to perhaps pedal out through the backs of the legs here, where we may be holding a bit of tension. So you can drop one heel down towards the ground, bend the opposite knee, and then swap that over. So perhaps bending through the left knee, straightening through the right leg, walking, pedaling out those feet, the backs of those legs. And then let's take a few big bends of both knees. So bending both knees, sending those hips up high. And as we bend our knees, we're finding lots of length here through the spine. So crown of the head to the tail is nice and long. In our downward facing dog, we're looking for that length through the spine. So if you need to, you can keep that bend in your knees, If it feels okay, you can begin to straighten out through the backs of the legs and allow the heels to draw down towards the mat. So they may not touch, most likely they don't. Just in that direction. And then let's check in with the upper body. We'd like to roll our armpits inwards. Create some strength through the upper body here. And switch on through that core. So draw your rib cage down towards your hips. And then as you are ready, we're going to begin to walk our feet up towards our hands. So we'll be finding a forward fold at the top of the mat. The hands can come away from the mat here. You can have a big bend in the knees again if that feels good. Just release through your lower back. Maybe a few sways from side to side. Might feel better for you to bend and straighten through your legs. So pedaling it out now at the top of the mat. Releasing the head down towards the ground. Maybe we're nodding the head yes and no. So shaking that head yes and no. Releasing tension through your neck, your shoulders. The hands may be dangling down towards the mat. Perhaps you're holding on to either elbow. Maybe interlacing your hands behind your back. Open up through the chest. So lots of options here in your forward fold. Do what feels good for you. As you're ready, release any bind you have created with your hands. Press through your feet. Inhale. Let's roll all the way up to standing. We're going to reach our arms up towards the sky. Palms touch. Exhale. Hands through center, folding forward. Inhale. Let's lift halfway. We have a nice flat back here. Gaze forward. And fold. Bend your knees. Inhale, press through the ground, rise all the way up, palms touch overhead. Exhale, fold forward, hands through center, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, nice flat back. Exhale, fold. One more round here, press through the ground, inhale. Reaching up towards the sky, palms touch. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, we fold. From here, bend your knees, plant your hands down onto your mat. Step your feet back into that downward facing dog shape. Inhale, breath. Let's roll forward. We're finding a plank position here and then lowering our knees down onto the mat. Now let's lower our whole body down, so chest all the way down onto your mat. Inhale, breath. Lift just your chest. Everything else is planted down here, so tops of the feet, thighs pressing down, hands pressing down, and lower. Inhale, breath, lift just the chest. Exhale, breath, lower down. Inhale, breath, lift just your chest. Shoulder blades squeeze together. And lower. Good. Next round here, option to stay as you are. So just lifting that chest. Working with what's called our baby cobra. Maybe you would like to press through your hands and straighten your arms. So finding a little bit more extension here. Maybe gazing up. And slowly lowering yourself back down. 2 more rounds wherever you are at. Perhaps it's your baby cobra. Maybe you're pressing the ground away. Gazing up. And lowering all the way back down. Final round here. Pressing through those hands, straightening those arms. And lowering. Let's tuck those toes under. Send the hips back, high, downward facing dog. Walking your feet up towards the top of your mat once more. Let's find that forward fold position. So perhaps those hands are interlaced. Maybe behind the back, once again opening up through the chest, the shoulders. Drawing those hands up towards the sky. And playing around with whether or not you have a big bend in your knees or straightening those legs. Crown of the head down towards your mat. Release any bind that you have created. Let's press through the feet. Inhale, rise all the way up. Palms touch. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Let's bend those knees, plant your hands down. This time we're going to step back with just our left foot. Drop the left knee down. We're in a low lunge, so we have the right foot forward. Left hand down onto the mat. Inhale, right arm reaches up towards the sky. Gazing up. Breathing here. An option to stay as you are. Perhaps you tuck the back toes and lift the back knee away here as well. Beautiful. Maybe coming onto the fingertips. You can gaze wherever it feels comfortable for you. Maybe down, maybe forward, maybe up. What's good on your neck. And if you've lifted that back knee, dropping it down. Framing your front foot. Hands plant down, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, step back, find your downward facing dog. Good. Gently walking your feet back to the top of your mat. And then from here, planting those hands down, keeping your left foot forward, step back with your right, or drop that right knee down here. Finding that low lunge on the other side. Right hand down onto your mat, left arm reaches up towards the sky. Option to stay here or to tuck the back toes and lift that back knee. Perhaps coming up onto those fingertips or maybe using your block underneath that right hand. Stay for 2 breaths. Gently lowering that back knee down, framing your front foot. This time we're going to step forward, so hands plant down. We step forward, find that forward fold at the top of the mat. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Press through your feet. Inhale, rise all the way up. Palms touch overhead. Exhale, gently folding forward. Planting both hands down here. Let's step back. Find our downward facing dog. And then lowering those knees down nice and wide. Find your child's pose here. So hips back towards the heels. Just settling here. You may let your head rest down onto the mat, so forehead down. Sending those hips back towards the heels, maybe reaching through your fingertips on the mat. And your next inhale breath. Coming back to your 4-point kneeling position. And from here, let's find that downward facing dog once more. So we're going to tuck our toes, press through those hands, send those hips high. On your next inhale breath, lift your right leg towards the sky. As you exhale, draw your knee towards your nose, so we're rounding our spine and pressing the ground away. Then inhale, send it back. Exhale, breath. Draw that knee underneath. We're going to step our right foot towards our right hand. If this is not available to you, find this high lunge position. So pressing through the feet, coming up high here. But you can make your way to this position any way that you need to today. So finding your high lunge position now. And breathing here. Arms are reaching up towards the ceiling, but our shoulder blades are set down and back. And for a little extra balance support, just shuffle your right foot out towards the edge of your mat a little more. Let's inhale, reach towards the sky. Exhale, soften your back knee down towards the mat. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, soften. Inhale, reach up. Next time we exhale, we're finding our warrior two. So we're going to rotate that back foot so that our toes are pointing to the side of the room. Our front foot stays as it is and we bend through that front knee. Arms are out to either side. Soften your shoulders, gaze over your front finger. Strong through your feet, strong energy through your fingertips. Staying with your breath here. Inhale, flip your front palm. Keep your front leg exactly as it is. Reverse your warrior. So we're going to paint the ceiling with that top hand. Maybe gazing up, or perhaps you're gazing down as your left hand slides down the leg. Reaching overhead. Find some length through the side of that body. Press your feet down into the mat. Inhale, come back through center. Reaching our arms forward now towards the front of the room as much as you can, and then shifting your weight, coming into our side angle pose. So your left hand is now up towards the ceiling, your right elbow may be resting on your right thigh. Perhaps you stay here, perhaps you reach the top arm overhead, finding length again for the side of the waist. Inhale, gently coming back through center, softening here. So rotate our back toes to face the front. Find your high lunge. Plant your hands down. Step forward. Find that forward fold. Beautiful work. From here, let's keep our our left foot forward. We're going to step back with our right foot. So from here, we can press through our feet and rise up and find our high lunge on the other side. Again, make any little adjustments that you may need to here. And breathe. Inhale, reach tall. Exhale, soften your back knee down. Inhale, reach tall. Exhale to soften. Inhale, reach tall. Exhale, warrior two on the other side. So we have our nice bend into our left knee. Our arms are out to the side of the body. And we're gazing over the left fingertips here. Soften your shoulders down. Strong through your fingertips, strong through your feet. Strong through your core, and staying with that breath, keeping us connected to our bodies. Inhale, flip your front palm. Exhale, reverse warrior on the other side. Maybe gazing up, perhaps down. Light with that back hand. So that right hand is nice and light. Reaching over, find that length. Inhale, breath back through center. Reaching forward now. As we then find that side angle pose on the other side. So we have our left elbow onto our left thigh, our right arm reaching up to the ceiling, maybe reaching overhead, finding that length right through the side body. Inhale, breath, come back through center. Rotate your back toes to face the front. And then planting your hands down, stepping back, downward facing dog. And taking a few breaths here. And really gently allowing your knees to come down onto the mat. We're going to come into a seated forward fold position. So from here, there are a few options you can take. You may like to have your legs together here, so both legs together. Sitting up nice and tall to start with. It may feel more comfortable for you to take your legs out wide. So this really depends on a lot of things to do with your individual body, your bone structure, where you may be holding tension. So doing whichever feels better for you, legs out wide, legs together. Or a third option is to come into our butterfly feet. So having the soles of the feet together and the knees out wide to the side. So feel free to change that shape as we move into this. If the leg position doesn't feel right for you, choose one of the others and see how that works, okay? So from here, we're going to come into a folded position. So choosing where you would like those legs to be, I'm actually going to take mine out nice and wide today. And we'll all start with a nice tall spine. From here, see if you can keep that spine nice and long. Begin to fold or hinge forward just until you feel that you've kind of gone to your edge there. And then you can begin to allow yourself to fold so the spine can then round. You can let your head dangle down. You may feel that you want to pop your pillows and things underneath you for this. It might feel good to have something to support you as you fold, and you can lean onto that. Lots of different ways that you can create your shapes. So as we move through the weeks of these classes, you'll find things that feel really good for you in your body and things that maybe don't feel so great. And just begin to learn to trust yourself, trust your body, and adjust however you need to get the release that you're looking for. So staying in whatever shape you've created here for a few deep rounds of breath. Filling up, inhaling in through your nose, exhaling to soften. So maybe using every inhale breath here to create a little space in your body where it may feel a little restricted. And every exhale breath, send the breath to the tightness, the tension. See if you can soften a little more. Inhale breaths, creating space in the body. Exhale breaths, softening tension, tightness. One last round of breath. Inhale, create that space. Exhale, soften, release the tension, the tightness you can notice in your body. Really gently beginning to walk your hands back so that you can come to your nice tall spine position. If you have used any pillows or cushions or your book or your blocks, just popping them out of the way for now. So off to the side. We're going to come into a really nice stretch for our hips here. It can be really great, particularly if you've been spending a lot of time sitting, perhaps at your desk or in the car. So I'll show you two options for this. If you have any knee issues or knee pain, this first option may not be right for you. So hang tight while I show you both. If you're coming into this variation of what is called our pigeon pose, we can start from a downward facing dog and then draw the right knee towards the right wrist. Lengthen out through the left leg, and then you can begin to fold your body forward. So again, you may like to have a pillow in front of you to fold down onto. Perhaps you're okay without one here, or you make some fists and place your head down. If that option does not work for you, you can roll onto your back and cross one foot on top of the opposite thigh, creating your figure four, which is your reversed pigeon. If you'd like to make that a little more intense, you could reach through the legs, so behind the left thigh, and then draw the knee in towards the body. So setting up with whichever shape feels best for you. And staying here for a few rounds of breath. Again, using every inhale breath to create a little space in the body. And every exhale breath to soften any tension, any tightness. And if you are holding tension somewhere else in the body, see if you can notice that. So maybe this feels quite intense for you through your hips. But notice, what are your hands doing? Can you soften the tips of your fingers? What are your teeth doing? What is your jaw doing? Can you soften that a little here as well? Notice where you may be holding tension where it's not required in this shape. Just allow it to melt and soften here. One more breath. Not rushing this breath, inhaling in through your nose, exhaling to soften and release. And then really gently beginning to walk your hands back towards your hips if you are in your forward position. If you're on your back, really gently swapping sides, so crossing that opposite foot on top of the opposite thigh. If you're in the pigeon shape, as I am here, tuck your back toes under, press through your hands. You can come into your downward facing dog. It might feel nice just to pedal out those feet. And then swapping to the other side, so bringing your left knee to your left wrist. And then beginning to fold yourself forward wherever you land. Using any props you need to help support here. Maybe the block or your book under your forehead. Perhaps you are all the way flat down onto the ground. And perhaps you have decided to stay upright here, maybe feeling really strong for you on one side compared to the other. Just listening to what the body needs and seeing if you can soften and release where the tension is. Staying for one more breath, again, not rushing that breath. Inhaling in through your nose, creating some space. Exhale, soften, release the tension. One last time here. And then really gently making your way out of your shape. So walking your hands back to your hips if you're forward. And just spinning yourself around. If you're on your back, stay on your back. We're all coming down now. So lying yourself down onto the mat if you're not already there. I'm going to create one last shape here, our happy baby pose. So bringing the soles of your feet up towards the ceiling. Just going to take hold of the outside of the thighs here and then allow the knees to bend down. So your knees are coming in towards your armpits as the soles of the feet remain up towards the sky. And this may be enough sensation for you. Perhaps you'd like more, you could walk your hands up onto your calves. You might even be able to reach the outside edges of your feet and find your happy baby here. And see if you can lengthen the spine, allow the tailbone to rest down towards your mat. It really doesn't matter where your hands land here. They do not need to be on the edges of your feet. Just wherever it feels best in your body. And maybe a little rock from side to side might feel good. Perhaps straightening through one leg and then straightening through the other. And then as you're ready, really gently beginning to release those legs. We're going to find a really nice comfy position for your final pose in your gentle flow. We're going to come into our final relaxation, our Shavasana. So this may be here as I am, lying on your back with your legs and your arms out to the side. If you're more comfortable lying on your side or on your tummy, you're welcome to do that. Wherever you are, closing down the eyes. Just allowing softness to completely wash over your body. Knowing that you are exactly where you need to be right now. And finding a little gratitude to yourself for allowing yourself the space for this practice today. And softening into your mat, allowing the shoulders to be heavy and soften down, the hips softening down, fingertips are soft, the jaw, the teeth, the tongue relax. And if you have a little more time, staying here for perhaps 3 to 5 more rounds of breath. When you are ready to come out of your practice, gently drawing your knees in towards your chest. Making your way all the way up to a seated position on your mat. And at the end of our yoga practice, we say to one another, Namaste. The light within me honors the light within each one of you. Thank you guys for joining me for today's class, our gentle flow. Hope that you enjoyed it and that you are feeling wonderful. And I look forward to seeing you all, or you seeing me, practicing together next week. Thank you.